people? Welcome to episode 31 of One by One. That is such an awesome song. Deftones, Swerve City. Get the fuck with it. Such a badass band, man. They're coming around with Rise Against, I think. I believe in Philly sometime this June or July. I wasn't into that band at first when they first came out with like Around the Fur and Adrenaline, but right after that I got into them and haven't stopped being into them. Damn, they're a good band. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for listening. Thank you for checking it out. This week I have a really cool dude on. I met through Instagram. Who would have known? It's like a normal thing these days. It's like online dating, Match.com bullshit. I used to think that shit was weird. But like my cousin met her current husband on there. Only husband she ever had. I don't know why I said it like that. But I think my brother met his husband on there, some website. I just always thought you should go out and like meet people in person. But I guess I'm just old school, man. Growing up in the 80s. Dating in the 90s. But yeah, you can meet anybody. Get connected with anybody through Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. It's a fucking wonderful world. But this fella, he's got a podcast. He's been in a bunch of bands. He's into beer and reefer, but mostly the beer. He's a really cool dude. I had almost a 2-hour conversation with him, and he's got a really interesting story. And we got into some deep shit, some car accident stuff, some dying for like 20 minutes or so and coming back, to lucid dreams and taking ayahuasca and shit like that. It's like my dream podcast. Just from listening to Joe Rogan Experience and Duncan Trussell Family Hour. I'm always so intrigued and like focused and listening to those podcasts because they're so interesting to me. And this one was really interesting to me, and I'm really glad that I had him on. It's Eddy Torres from RocknRollBeerGuy podcast.
Hello.
Yo, what's up, Eddy?
What's up, Mike? How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing, brother?
Doing all right, man. I had no idea you were going to go live.
Oh, no, it's not live. It's, I'm just recording already, that's all.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I wanted to ask you about that. Like, I've been trying to figure out a better way to do the podcast because as of right now, like, it's taking me hours to edit these things down.
Oh, really?
Oh my God. I'm not an audio editor by any means.
I only have experience just from just doing music and shit. Because right now I've been going through GarageBand since I started doing the podcast here. I don't know what.
Nice.
What are you working with?
I'm using Pro Tools, actually.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, because I same thing. I anything that I do editing wise is because of my experience with music itself. So Pro Tools to me just felt the most comfortable. I know some people say that there are better programs like Audacity. I actually use Audacity to record the audio from Skype for whatever calls I do.
Oh, okay.
But then I export the audio from Audacity and put it on Pro Tools, and then do all my editing there because there's just a lot of empty spaces. Also with Skype calls, sometimes you get these weird little
The
feedback,
delays
distortion.
and weird stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man, it's a pain in the ass, but whatever. It's the easiest thing, and you got to do what you can with what you got, right?
Yeah, man, you definitely do. I was so skeptical about even doing mine the way that I'm doing it right now for like a year that I didn't do it for that long. I was like, what the hell? I could have been talking to so many people if I would have just went ahead and did it. But this, dude, it's really simple. I have an audio box. It's just a 2-channel interface that goes out to the MIDI into my laptop, and I plug in one microphone for me, and then you're on Skype on my phone right now, so I have the headphone jack plugged right into another cable that turns into a mic on the other end that's plugged into channel 2, and I just record one on channel 1, one on channel 2, and then I have like a music track too, because I noticed you do a song in the beginning and a song at the end too. That's awesome. It's a good way to like get out shit that you like. I feel like,
For sure, yeah. It helps to show people what I'm into, but I also try and it's I guess like a mutual beneficial thing for everyone. Like I'm helping out my buddies' bands. Like, I'll usually put up my buddies' local band stuff, and independent artists, people that aren't signed or looking to get their name out there.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
If I like their music and I like them as people, I always like, hey, I'll hit them up like, hey, dude, I'm gonna use your song for the intro. Is that cool? They're like, oh my god, fuck yeah, So super stoked just to get any kind of exposure. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. That's a pretty cool thing to do. Like, I've done that. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, but the reason, there's another reason I also do that is also because I also put the videos up on YouTube, and if you use music that's licensed or whatever, you get taken down. Yeah,
well, they haven't taken, because when I do it, I go do it straight out of Libsyn, and it goes, when I had SoundCloud, I was going to there, and iTunes and YouTube, and for some reason it doesn't take mine down. It just says that there's going to be an ad before my video, and it just leaves them, because I haven't noticed that they've been taken out, and I've been posting like every podcast I've done this year, especially I've had like 2 songs that are like licensed music.
Well, shit. I mean, I've just been precautious about it. I just didn't want to do something and then get my shit in trouble or taken down or
Yeah.
But then also there's the aspect of just helping out the buddies. Like my buddies in Silent Mara, who I've done some guest spots with live and shit. Whenever they, I'm at one of their shows, I'll jump on stage and do a song with them.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's always fun.
So, I mean, I love those guys. We've been playing together the entire time that I've been in bands. Like they've been in other bands, and we've played shows together growing up like that. But when I told them, like, hey, I'm gonna put your music before the interview with Adam or the conversation with Adam, he fucking lost his shit. He's like, really? Oh my god!
Yeah, that is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, man. I mean, especially if that's what I want to do. I want to provide that. Like, hey, man, there you go. That whoever's listening to this episode is gonna listen to your song in the beginning.
Yeah, definitely.
And I've been very grateful that people are actually listening to the podcast. Because it was to start it, it was a joke. Like joking around with my buddies. We were drunk as fuck, and just one of my friends, Gasper, started calling me RocknRollBeerGuy because I was always at fucking shows backstage, and I was working in the beer industry, so I would bring out beers and provide the party, if you would call it that. You know? And friends would call me like, dude, you are side stage at Summer Slaughter? How? And then one day, as a joke, I just put #RocknRollBeerGuy.
That's great, dude.
Yeah, we were just joking around. We kept throwing that around. I was kind of like being an asshole about it. Like, yeah, I'm side stage at Summer RocknRollBeerGuy.
Yeah.
And but then we sat around drunk as shit. And we're like, a lot of people fucking. You listen to a lot of podcasts. I've been wanting to do it for years. I've been talking about doing it because me and my buddies will get stoned out of our minds and start talking some existential shit in the balcony about multiple parallel universes, and shit. Like, dude, record that and put it online. But we never. I never did. I have a bunch of recorded shit. I would record it and just put it on the computer and never release it to the world. And then, I just started doing research, and like, I have a laptop. Audacity can record Skype conversations. That way I could call my friends and I don't have to bug them. I don't have to make them come to me. Shit like that. And I could just record the Skype conversation. And I'm using actually a Q3 Zoom mic right now. That's like a camera mic hybrid.
Okay.
And I'll put that in front of me, and then on a stand, and then I record the conversation on the Skype end on the computer. And then I take both of those audio files and edit them in Pro Tools and add the music and shit. And then I do a separate like intro for the sponsors and whatnot.
Yeah. That's what I usually do. When I record, then I have to move all the audio to the right a little bit and record my intro.
Right.
And then move it backwards and shit. But yeah, I've got I don't know. I'm only on episode 31 so far. This is what this one is, and it's it gets a lot easier every time you do it, dude. You just do you like edit down the actual conversation that you have on Skype, or
I do it, and it sucks because it's so time consuming, man. I'll drop like 5 hours on it, on an hour conversation. I'll drop 5 hours because sometimes because of Skype we'll have some delays, or like audio will cut out and it'll jump back in.
Yeah.
So I'll piece those together, cut out the empty space, and then I end up fucking removing like moments, just kind of like, and they don't really say anything, or I don't say anything. So I'll just delete that shit out and just work on the timing and the pacing of the actual episode. So like, if there's a joke and it like just so happens that you say a joke and then the fucking Skype blanks out and then the person laughs like a few seconds later, it sounds weird. I don't want people hearing that shit.
I don't know. With this dude, I've like the last podcast I did, it wasn't Skype that messed up. It was my computer. It said it had like some kind of disk space error or something, and I lost like 5 or 10 seconds of that podcast, like kind of towards the end of it, and I just cut it and made it just go right into each other, like it like it wasn't even missing. But then at the end I was like, sorry about that. My computer wrapped up. That was the first time though. I've never had any like delays with Skype itself. And I even did one that's 2 podcasts ago. I did with a guy in California. He was we did it on FaceTime audio. Actually, it was FaceTime video.
It was your buddy, the graphic designer, right? From the Fighter and the Kid.
That was the last one I did. And that's the one I lost like 5 seconds of.
Okay.
Marty.
Yeah, he's in Orange County, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And the one before that was with a comedian named Tommy Easter that Joey Diaz always talks about. I don't know if you ever heard him talk about him. Shit. But that one, I was like, yo, do you have Skype? And he's like, no, I don't have Skype. I was like, well, you got an iPhone, I see, because they had the blue text message came back to me. You must have like an Android or something, because you came back green. But he was like, yeah, I got FaceTime, so we could do it on there. I was like, all right, I'll FaceTime you. And I called him, and then he must have like accidentally hung up and then pushed the FaceTime regular shit. So I was sitting there like holding my phone the whole time with the audio jack plugged into my computer. But I was like, we were actually talking, looking at each other. But it works fine, dude.
So how do you export the audio from the FaceTime to like a recording, like just through the USB?
Yeah, because I'm going through that audio box USB interface.
Oh.
So it takes it right from the mic there into the USB, and it just records on 2 separate tracks. Like,
okay.
It's pretty sweet. I'm pretty lucky to have this, because I actually had a PC laptop, and it kind of kicked the bucket a while ago. So I've been borrowing my girlfriend's like this whole entire time. Probably gonna get one soon. So
it was a bummer. I was starting to do the podcast on this work laptop I had, because the only thing I would do was do emails on it, So it wasn't all clogged up with porn and all their bullshit that my computers had for years, fucking random music projects and files of just, whatever. So everything runs super slow now because now that I don't work there anymore, they took the laptop and I'm like, fuck, I gotta go back to my shit computer and fucking run disk cleanup and disk defrag and all that shit. I know
all the time with the PCs.
Jesus but I can't do Apple, man, unless I'm doing. I'm okay with it in a professional setting, like if I'm in a studio and that's what they got, I'm okay with it. But like as a personal computer for myself, I wouldn't be able to deal with Apple. It's just
I only use this thing for the GarageBand app on it. That's like the only thing I use it for.
Yeah, man,
I don't
crazy.
use it for shit. And then I used the internet to load it to Libsyn from there because I save all the files on this computer. But that's it. I barely use my phone for like I have a Photoshop app for my phone that I bought like a couple years ago before they stopped selling it. And that's like what I use mainly for making all the shit that I do.
Really? You're doing it on your phone?
Yeah. Phone and iPad, but mostly the phone now because I got the 6 Plus, so it's not as small as the 5 was, per se. But I started on the 5 though when it was that small. I made
that's nuts.
I made Joey Diaz's album, the Savage Dad album cover with that phone, iPhone 5S. It's crazy.
Wow.
But
dude, that's mind blowing. I spent some time doing graphic design right out of school. Me and my buddy Jay, we would just go get jobs working at random like print shops and stuff.
Oh, cool.
And just working with Illustrator and Photoshop and until he eventually broke off and opened his own company, and now he's like fucking wildly successful doing shit for Red Bull and shit,
That's fucking great, dude.
Yeah, he's fucking set for life. I quit that industry though because I didn't have the patience to deal with customers, and it's funny that that evolved into me going into full-on customer service for the rest of my life.
How the fuck's that work out?
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of like, well, I hated artistically dealing with other people's opinions. Like they come up and they're like, I want a business card for my paint company. I'll be like, hey, okay, cool. Here, let me make you this logo, whatever. And they're like, no, can you put the paintbrush? Can it have like a rainbow and can it be flying through space?
No.
And that's what I'm like. Oh, fuck you.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like when you actually get clients and stuff, and they ask for like one thing, and then it turns into another thing.
Oh my god.
But I guess that's just how you got to roll. Like you got to learn how to deal with that shit if you really want to stay in the city. Luckily though, dude, Joey, when I started his Instagram, he gave me like free reign to do anything really. So
that's awesome.
He doesn't even ask me to like let him see the shit before I post it. So it's pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How did you get to meet Joey? Like I know you mentioned once that Rogan introduced you, but was that like a actual like face-to-face introduction, or was it just kind of saying that while listening to Rogan he spoke about Joey and then that's what introduced you to Joey?
Oh yeah, that's from listening to Joe. That's where I got Joey Diaz in my life. Really.
So how did you end up actually like meeting him and getting that to the point now where you're handling his shit?
It was fucking Twitter, dude. I'm serious. Like I think it was like 2015, like July of 2015 when I started this podcast. So it was sometime before that I started doing like, because I was always doing this design shit besides the music and stuff. So after listening to podcasts for a while, I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to start a podcast too, and then combine everything into one kind of thing. Because I do my own shit for everything really. But I started making posters for Joe Rogan just because I fucking loved him and loved who he was playing with a lot of the times, and most of the time they were with Joey Diaz. But Joe Rogan, he started like liking my shit. He started following me on Instagram and Twitter, and started reposting my shit that I was making for him. But I mean, it was really cool like to even have that happen, I just kind of got a fucking high off of just like, damn, he fucking like I just posted that 5 minutes ago and he fucking reposted it. But
it's a good feeling, man. We definitely live in a good fucking time for shit like that, because that's how easy it can be. It's always been that easy in real life. A lot of people don't realize that. Like bands, a lot of bands, I've been in local bands for years, 10, 20, I don't fucking know. Yeah. But dealing with a lot of local bands, there's a lot of them that just have this like, oh man, I don't know what we're going to do. Like, how do we get signed, or how do we get this opinion? Or I'm like, dude, you just got to talk to people.
I know. That was always my problem, dude.
Reach out to them, and people will generally respond. Like, and now with Twitter and Instagram and shit, people are more connected than ever. I've been freaking out slightly because lately, every podcast post I make, Adam Carolla is liking it.
Yeah, he's been actually liking a couple of mine lately too. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck?
That's awesome.
This is must be doing something, I guess. Yeah, something man. Right.
For sure, dude. And then you never fucking know. Like, you keep on doing what you're doing, you might get a fucking offer down the line from somebody.
For sure.
Fucking worth it.
I mean, and that would be amazing. That's not my intention right now. Like, I'm just kind of, I wanted to do something with my time, and thankfully I've been in the music industry for a long time, and I've met a lot of people, and just managed to be cool enough to hold a normal conversation with them. Mm-hmm. And that's all it takes. It's just treat them like a person. A lot of people freak out and like, oh my God, you're like the best thing that's ever happened in my life. And that's all really, it's all great. That's always beautiful. But if you're trying to actually get to know this person, just talk to them like a person. You can't lead off the conversation with like, something like that, because you end up being categorized as a punisher.
Yeah. For sure.
A lot of bands, by the way, that's what they call them, punishers. That's like a whole industry thing for them. Like, I'm thinking about starting a little like side segments for the Rock and Roll Beer Guy. Just do like 10 minutes or 5 or 10 minute Punisher stories. I don't come up with like a funny name, but just have like Adam D tell a Punisher story. Some dude that like came up to him and fucking tattooed his name on his arm or something, and I don't know, that I made that up. By the way, that's not a real story. I'm just saying that would be cool to have like little segments of shit like that, because dude, there are some people that just lose their shit in front of people that are famous or celebrities or people that are doing something that inspires them.
Yeah. I never lost my shit. I've been like nervous meeting some famous people, especially like the first time I met Joey. Because after I saw he posted something, it was a while after I was doing the Joe Rogan posters and shit like that. But like, I started doing them for him too, and he started reposting them and retweeting them. Really, he wasn't on Instagram at the time. But I saw him post a picture of him walking down the street with his daughter with the gun in his back pocket, and I knew that he was coming out with the album, and he was calling it Savage Dad. So I just put fucking 2 and 2 together and like saved the picture to my phone, put it through a couple of filters, and put some words on top of it, put more filters on it, and then I sent it back to him on Twitter, and he was like, "Can I DM you?" And he was like, "I love this. I want to use it for the album cover." I was like, "No fucking shit, man."
Nice, man.
That's cool. That's how I fucking got hooked up with Joey Diaz, and then like a month later. He asked me, I kept doing the posters and shit for his shows, and he was like, "You're the official church graphic designer. You cool with that?" I was like, hell yeah.
That's Joey Wood.
You do not have to fucking ask.
Cocksucker.
I know, man. Dude, it was so weird the first time he called. I was sitting in my living room at my first apartment with my girlfriend, and was like, it's so surreal to have him like actually talking to you, not like talking to Lee or something.
Not listening to him talking to somebody else. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's crazy, man. And I give you props, dude, because, you look at what you've done using just your phone. Like, the way my mind works, and I am not of sane mind for I've done way too many drugs and alcohol for many years that I definitely don't have a normal mind. So in my mind, listening to that, like coming from the graphic design world, I wouldn't be able to do it. I would need my whole computer set up with the keyboard and the mouse and the fucking all the right Photoshop. And in my mind, if I don't have all of that, I'm not going to be able to accomplish what I want.
And you're not even gonna try.
I'm not even gonna fucking try. So like listening to the fact that you use. I tried the Photoshop on the phone, and I was like, fuck this. No, no. I just fucking stuck to Instagram, and I have like the fucking gallery editor that comes with Android. That's how I add text to pictures now. But if I want to get something done, I have to like, oh yeah, I'll do it when I get home. You know, like I've had people hit me up like, hey man, can you Photoshop a cock into this picture? And then like, yeah, dude, right away. But let me get home first. You know.
Yeah. I just love the fucking touchscreen, dude. And then I don't know what Photoshop you use, but like I don't know, past couple years now they had it as Photoshop Touch as the app, but now it's just a whole bunch of different Photoshop suite apps that are like all the, you know, effects, but individually almost. That's how they're like free, but you have to sign up for the Adobe whatever thing. It's like so much a month.
You have the subscription. Yeah.
But I have the app from before that. That's like got 80 to 90% of Photoshop in one app. So any device that because I bought it for like $4.99 or something like that, and any device that I have, I can download it on there, even though they don't sell it on the App Store no more. So I was lucky as shit to fucking buy that. Because I've been into like buying apps, like photo apps and stuff, just to fuck with pictures, like since I got an iPhone, and I have quite a few on my pages.
Well, I remember. I'm trying to remember one that they showed me. I don't remember the name now, but when I was working for Cigar City Brewing, they had they had all the sales guys come into the brewery and meet with this like social marketing. Social networking, fucking whatever marketing specialist that was teaching us how to make proper Instagram photos to represent the beer.
Wow.
You know, and it was kind of intense for me because I'm like, dude, I just take a picture and I fucking look for whatever filter makes it look pretty. I don't know what the name is. I don't even, some pictures I don't always use the same filter, you know?
I can't believe that's a real job.
That's a job. The dude comes in with a fucking presentation and a whiteboard and is like, so, you know, the 2/3 rule. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's, you know, typical photography, you know, basic stuff. But, you know, then he starts going into portraying feelings into what the message is for the picture, and I'm just kind of like, nah, dude, I don't have time for all that. I'm at a bar, look at this beer. That's what my picture is.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, buy this beer. I'm drinking it. It's nice. But yeah, no, it was interesting to see that he made us all download this app that was like a photo editing app, but it was too complicated for me. Like, I don't know what it is, man. Like, maybe I'm getting old, but
no, some of them are fucking difficult. I have another one called Enlight, and it's got most of the same shit that Photoshop does, but it just looks different and has a different feel to it. And I only use it to, you know, add words to shit. It's like my font app.
Well, it's the same shit with me in like Pro Tools. So I've told a couple people like, yeah, I do the podcast through Pro Tools. They're like, why don't you just fucking do it on Audacity? And I'm like, well, to me, it's harder. You know what I mean? Even though Pro Tools is technically harder for people,
yeah,
I'm used to it. So I could just do it on that, and it's archaic. I'm using Pro Tools 8, and I'm using a fucking MBOX 1, you know, like the first one, and I prefer that. I don't want the new fucking, you know, rack system with all that. I don't know how to use that.
Yeah, I know. You gotta read up on that shit real fucking good.
Yeah. I'm sorry, and I never get full use out of it, you know. I just found out the other day with Pro Tools that you can make a fucking beat on Pro Tools using their MIDI control program and all that stuff that they have built in. I've never used that. I always, I do a beat, I'll do it live and I'll record it and then just work with it, you know. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I've only seen Pro Tools. Actually, no, it's not even Pro Tools. My friend that I do sound with and record with, he has Logic. Mm-hmm. I guess that's the Apple version. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much the same damn thing. But with GarageBand, like I would make songs on my phone on GarageBand because they have the app on there too, and I move it over to the computer to do like the vocals, and then I would bring it to Bob's studio and I would bring it as like a file, like a GarageBand file, and putting it into Logic, it actually has like all the tracks separated and everything still. So he can either remix it, or I can. What I did most of the time was I just like take it and redo the whole entire song by using that as like the backbone, like play along to it, you know.
Well, yeah, like pre-production stuff. You know, you record a song and just to have the skeleton, you know, and then kind of work on it from there.
Yeah, but it was like I was making every track I just did over again on Logic.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
I mean, I've been fortunate that I landed in a band with people that are talented. You know, because I think I just kind of snuck my way like a Cuban fucking does. You know, I just snuck my way into that band.
Which one is this? Is this the Vultures Are Wolves?
Well, no. Well, Vultures. Yeah, I fucking slithered my way into that band too, because that was a funny story. Like, it's three dudes. We're all been friends. We've been playing shows together for years, and I liked them a lot. And I was like, dude, you guys. It was a singer, drummer, and a guitar player. George, Alex, and Juan, and they didn't have a bass player. And I'm like, dude, your music is so fucking heavy, and it would be so much better if you had bass.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
my friend had that going on for a while. Same.
Yeah, like,
situation.
I get it. Some bands pull it off. You guys are pulling it off. Not that you're missing anything. It's good. I think this will just make it better. It'll add. And then, one night, it was my birthday. They were playing. Every year when I was living with the band back in Miami, we all lived in one big house. So every birthday party, every fucking New Year's, every Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Martin Luther King Day, any day that we could get together and party, we were gonna do that. We were gonna have a party, have 150 people show up. We'll have bands. We'll fucking get a couple kegs going. And we did that for a long time. And then one night, it was my birthday. I'm like, yo, I learned one of your songs on bass. Let me hop on. And he was like, okay, let's go.
Well, you like brought your bass too? Like, or did they have one?
Well, I didn't even have a bass. I borrowed my bass player's bass from Desever, the other band. And I'm like, dude, let me borrow your bass. And it was a fucking toilet bass too, which was hilarious. It was shaped like a toilet seat. Yeah. So I did the song, and they were like, dude, that was fucking sick. I'm like, yeah, I'll learn all your songs. Next show, let's play all of them. And they're like, okay, cool. And then we just started doing that, and we started playing shows, and now we're talking about we took a break because the drummer moved to California. I just moved to California recently within the last year. And we took a little break, but we're talking about getting back together and doing some shows here on the West Coast, since two of us are here now. Yeah. And then if I can get together, I talked to Steve Evans a little bit about, going to work with him to do a little like EP, just do 4 songs, something cheap, because we're not, we're not rich. We don't got money for that. So,
yeah.
But something, quick. We'll fucking do one take. Who cares? We'll do it live. I just fucking need to get it down.
How long have you been in the band now? Since that whole incident happened.
I slithered my way into Vultures Are Wolves in like 2009.
Oh, okay.
And Desever started in 2006, and that was also like a slithery situation for me. Like, I've always had a living situation where there's a party. Even when I was living with my family. In Miami, when we first moved to Miami, my grandfather took everybody in the family and moved them all into one giant house with like 6 bedrooms, because he wanted to keep the family together, and he didn't realize how fucking volatile the situation that can be. You know what I mean? Just putting a bunch of people in a house together. So that's where it all started for me. Like when one day everybody went on a vacation, and it was just me. They like left me in charge of the whole house. First thing I did was call my buddies, yo, show my house tonight, bring your gear. And I'd have like 4 or 5 bands show up, and they'd invite all their friends. One night we fucking had that happen. Bunch of bands, there was about 300-400 people in the house. People outside in the front lawn, which was to the street with no fencing at all. There were in the grass, they had put down garbage bags and put a bunch of oil, and there was 2 chicks wrestling.
Oh,
random
my God.
random chicks I've never met just fucking wrestling. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like, when did this happen? But I just stood there and cheered them on. I'm like, you guys need more oil? I got some more. And go back in the house to go find some. But all that was going on. There's these fucking heavy ass bands. I remember Black Line Grind, which is like a local Miami band. Super heavy, hardcore band. And they're fucking screaming and going crazy. And my whole family shows up early from the vacation. And everybody, what the fuck is going on? Where are all these people? I pulled my grandmother and my mother to the side, like, look, I have it all under control. Go to your room, lock the door. I'll get everybody out of here by 2:00. You know? And she was like, okay, all right, we trust you. And then the bands kept playing, shit kept happening. My mom was outside watching the bands play. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. So that just became my life for years. I would always have a house where people would come party. And that's where I met the Sever. I had they were playing locally at the time with a singer called Sergio. He's off doing some crazy shit now with like country music, or he had a band called Atom Smash that was like radio Nickelback shit. Now he's like a little artist or something. I don't know. But the consensus was amongst everybody that the band was amazing, but nobody liked the singer.
Yeah.
And
that always
it kept causing beef. Yeah, it kept causing beef within like the actual band itself. Like they were having arguments, and I was doing. I threw a party at my house once, and I was doing music on my own. I called it Paravu, just like the Instagram, my personal Instagram.
Yeah.
That's always been like my little like solo thing. So I was doing solo music with that, and we played the show. We did the party, and I performed some of my solo shit in front of everybody, and people were just jumping in. Like Billy, who's the drummer for Sever, he walks up to me, he's like, "Yo, you mind if I just jam on the drums while you're doing that?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, go for it." And we did that, jammed for a bit, and then I get a call like a couple days later from Brian, who's the guitarist. He's like, "Dude, you need a guitar player?" I'm like, "Sure. Your brother was playing drums the other day. I could use a drummer." And he's like, "He's in. Let's go." And then the bass player from Sever is like, "Well, I know how to play bass." That's Anthony. He's like, "I'll play bass. I'll play bass." And then it was basically Sever with me doing my songs that I had written, and they had tweaked them all. They made them so much better, dude, because I was just doing, I was writing them at home, and it was very simple, and there was guitar, bass, and everything in it, but it was just very simple shit, and these guys came in and fucking tweaked it and made it sound amazing.
Yeah. That's what a good band does, dude.
We started playing shows as Paravu, opening up for Sever. And then, like, the singer dude from Sever started, like, not hanging out. He wouldn't show up to practice and stuff, so I volunteered. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll sing your songs. And that way you guys can practice, get your practice in." And we started doing that, and then house parties started happening where I was singing for Sever, and then just one day they just kicked him out. I was fucking there when they kicked him out. It was the most awkward fucking situation. We were all sitting around because we were practicing my songs, and then they were going to practice their songs. And he showed up with an acoustic guitar and was like, "Yeah, check out this riff I wrote." And he played this like very basic power chord riff. Like, I don't remember it right now, but Brian, the guitar player, is like, "Dude, I hate it. I hate everything you do."
Wow.
He got his guitar in the guitar case, got up and left, and we never saw him again. Like, that was it. And I just told the guys, I'm like, "Hey, I'm in. If you want to make this Sever, let's just blend my songs with the Sever songs, and we'll just call it Sever. I don't care, man. Let's go."
Did you play keys too in that band?
Keys. I started off playing acoustic guitar too, like backing, like rhythm, and but we ended up eliminating that once we started writing heavier and heavier music. Yeah. Thrashing. We would get trashed and fucking play shows, and Dillinger Escape Plan style, where like make a scene, fucking throw some shit, fucking jump in the crowd, punch someone, like like trying to get the crowd into it, and it it got a little harder and harder to fucking whip out an acoustic guitar at shows like that, you know?
Fuck yeah.
Like, like one day it's like, hey, you gonna bring the guitar? I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna go. Let's fucking go, you know? And I always kept I would always knock over my fucking keyboards. Like I had a stand with shit got stupid at one point, and I started getting really elaborate with my setup, like a 2-tiered system. I had a giant guitar case, like a guitar pedal case that Brian had given me, and I shoved a mixer in there. I shoved a couple pedals, just kind of like to EQ and do my own sound.
Oh wow!
So that way, you know, the sound guys loved it, because we get to the show and the guy's like, oh, what the fuck is this with all these keyboards? And I'm like, yo, all you gotta do is give me an XLR, put the volume up, and I'll handle everything else.
Yeah.
I got the reverb, I got the delays that I want for each song. I've got the sounds that I need. Just fucking go. Just put volume up and put everything flat. I'll EQ it over here. And they loved it. That sound guys fucking loved that shit. They're like,
man. Jesus.
Yeah, okay, cool. So I started doing that, and I added a fucking sample board. We had samples running before songs and shit, or like in between songs. We had different like themes that we'd do, like, oh, video games. So like one show will have fucking Mario sounds in between songs just to fuck around.
Yeah. That's cool shit. I had this one keyboard player a couple weeks ago. He brought, it was a longer show, and the instructions weren't really given out too well on like what people were gonna have to bring and shit. But he brought 2 keyboards set up, just like you were talking about. But he was under the assumption that we had enough space to handle stereo outs on both of them. I'm like, dude, we got a DI with 2 inputs, so mono for each one, brother. You know,
yeah, I'm gonna need 4 DI boxes. Thanks. Yeah, no, dude. Fuck that. I tried to make, also I've done a lot of stage production work. I did like 2 years of that shit in Miami, working for IMC, as a company that we would work with the American Airlines Arena or Bank Atlantic Center, the big fucking, venues in Miami for shows.
That's awesome.
And, build stages, ridiculous shit. Like my first gig ever was Aerosmith, and it was Aerosmith with Lenny Kravitz.
Wow.
And I remember getting to this fucking show backstage, put my uniform shirt on, walk in, I'm like, all right, load in is in 30 minutes. We got 18 tractors. I'm like, what? I'm like, excuse me? They're like, yeah, 18 wheelers. I'm like, what the fuck?
Holy
what are you talking
shit.
about? And they have, like, Aerosmith has an entire fucking 18-wheeler truck that goes on tour carrying their goddamn dressing room.
Yeah.
It's their dressing room. There's rugs. They like to deck out the dress. Like, we had to assign a team of 4 people to their dressing room to unload all this shit and put fucking draperies up, put plants in the right area, set up fucking rugs and carpets and, like, just shit, incense.
Wow.
I'm like, I get it, because they live on the road, and that you got them, they make it feel like home, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's just, that's just so ridiculous, man.
Wow.
So when performing with the band, I always wanted to make it as easy as possible for the crew. You know what I mean? For the people, like the sound guy. That's why I did that whole setup. Like, I'll handle it. I got it. Go do your shit.
Oh yeah.
Focus on everybody else. But
is that where you met Eric Clapton and got him some reefers?
Yeah. My girl thought that story would be cause me trouble. I'm like, I don't know, man. I've been holding on to that story for a long time.
Yeah, statute of limitations is past.
I don't give a shit anymore. But yeah, no, I got to meet Eric Clapton and procure him some marijuana that he needed. Him and the crew. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't just him, whoever the fuck in the band or whatever. But that was a really cool experience. I mean, that job really offered a lot of really cool experiences for me, and it really helped me kind of handle talking to celebrities and stuff like that in an easier way for me. Like, I'm gone past the point of giving a shit who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we all put fucking pants on one leg at a time.
Right, man. Like, you know, we're doing I just loaded in all your bullshit for 3 hours. You're goddamn right. I'm going to sit next to you during lunch and fart. That's what's happening.
Dude, is that where you met Adam too from Killspace?
No. So the funny story with Adam was I was in Tampa working for Cigar City Brewing at the time, and we were setting up for our biggest festival of the year. It's this like Hunapoo Day festival that they do every March.
Yeah.
And it takes like a full day of us just setting up tables, tents, making sure there's water and all kinds of shit for all the guests, brewers that are coming in. And putting up signage, all that shit. And I'm in the middle of that. And we go to the tasting room. I meet up with my boss. And he's like, all right, well, here's the plan. We're going to do this. And I look at the bar and I see Adam. And I look at my boss. I'm like, are you familiar with the band Killswitch Engage? And he's like, no. I'm like, well, that's the guitarist. And like, okay. So the plan is we need to put up all these tables. I'm like, hey, I'll be right back. Like, give me a second. And he's like, but where are you going? We gotta, I'm like, no, just give me a second. God damn. Like, been working 12 hours. Give me a minute.
Yeah.
Give me a break, I got this. Yeah. So fucking go and talk to him. I'm just like, hey, dude, you're Adam, right? He's like, yeah, man. I'm like, cool. I work for Cigar City Brewing. Thanks for coming out. He's like, oh, shit, I love you guys. I'm a huge fan of your beers. And he's just like fanboying on us, you know?
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Like, wait a minute. I was like, wait. No, I'm a fan. What are you talking about? So like, yeah, no, I like your music's awesome, dude. Thanks for coming by. I mean, you want to see the brewery? And he's like, yeah. Like, walk him around, show him the brewery. I got in trouble because apparently he was in flip flops, and that's like it's not illegal or anything, or like I didn't get in real trouble. It was just they gave me shit about it. They're like, yo, no open toe shoes in the brewery, bro. I'm like, I'm not gonna tell Adam that he can't look at the brewery because he's got flip-flops on.
Yeah, right.
You know, like, we weren't in operation. They weren't brewing actively, so it was shut down for the festival. So, like, I'm just walking them around. It's not dangerous. Don't worry about it. Yeah. It is super fucking dangerous, by the way. I'm not mocking the rules, but if you've ever been in an active brewery, like a big, large-scale production brewery, there is some shit flying around in there that will fuck you up. Like it will fuck up your life. It will burn your skin. Like if you get hot boiling wort or fucking caustic, which they use to clean everything, because that's like the number one thing is cleanliness. Yeah. So you can get fucked up if you're not careful inside a brewery, for sure.
How did you get into doing that?
The beer thing kind of felt, dude. So I've had so many shitty fucking jobs. My whole life, and
I feel you on that, my friend.
Yeah, there was so when my buddy Jay, I told you earlier, that opened up the graphic design company. Yeah. He and I started talking about working together to do like a Miami beer scene magazine type of thing, where because we were doing work with some of the local breweries. I was doing beer labels and stuff for them, and shirts and business cards and whatever. And I was like, dude, I want to get like a little magazine that has like a calendar of events that's coming up, and like, you know, feature some of the breweries. We'll do some like beer knowledge stuff, you know, whatever. Make it a cool little magazine and hand them out for free. We'll sell ad space on it, you know. And yeah. I started getting heavily involved in the beer scene with that because it seems so interesting to me. I started drinking craft beer on the road with the band. Like we would go to North Carolina and shit and discover new craft breweries that, you know, because Florida, Miami specifically, wasn't anything 6 or 7 years ago. There was no beer down there. So I got more and more into it because it was exotic to me, and the beers tasted amazing. And I liked the whole the work that goes into it, the artistry, also like the connections between music and beer. Like we're always, as a band, you're always drinking beer. And if you look at it deeper, like bands are struggling most of the time. And so are breweries, you know, unless you're a giant fucking sign band or a Sam Adams, you know, Sierra Nevada huge brewery. Yeah. You're kind of on the same path of busting your ass as hard as you can to get more people to like your shit. It's the same parallels, you know. Yeah. With music. So I started volunteering at beer festivals, and I got picked up by the distribution company from talking to people, friends of mine, that were working with them already. My buddy Caesar and Chris Montelius. I gave them my resume, which had 0 beer experience. You know what I mean? It was like, here's my resume of, years of graphic design work and working stage production. Like, or I spent a year working at a fish distribution company, or I just spent 6 months working at Victoria's Secret. Like, that was the craziest fucking experience of my life, Victoria's Secret.
Oh, really?
Like,
I didn't know they had dudes.
Just working there because, big bearded fucking hairy dudes working. Most of the time I would work the back doing like stock, but sometimes they'd put me up front fucking folding tiny little lacy panties. And I'm a fucking hardworking dude. I got like, hang nails and fucking skin, sticking out of my fingers, and it just gets caught on the lace and it flies, like panties are flying around. It was the worst. And it's funny, I got the opportunity when they called me to work at Brown Distributing, which is the distribution company for all the craft brands there. I got the call and I go talk to the manager. I'm like, hey, I just got an offer to work in the beer industry, which has been a dream of mine. I'm going to go. They were so bummed. No, we don't want to lose you. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they don't want to. They don't want to have to hire somebody else for more money or some shit.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna fucking risk my dream job to stay at Victoria's Secret.
Yeah,
okay? That's not happening.
Yeah,
and what's funny? Going back, I don't want to fucking dwell on it too much, but just going back to the interview to Victoria's Secret, like my girl's manager at the time hooked it up with the interview because she knew the manager for Victoria's Secret.
Okay.
And I show up and it's a group interview. There's 10 girls in the room and me standing there. Okay?
That's not awkward.
Not at all. And they're like going around the room like, so you tell us, why do you want to work at Victoria's Secret? What kind of bombshell are you? And like these girls had their fucking answers, like, oh yeah, because I wear the diamond collection because blah blah blah, and I'm special and this and that, and like they had a whole fucking thing that they practiced in the mirror that day. Like they were all about that job, and they come to me and she's like, so why do you want to work here? I'm like, I need money. I work, you pay me money, right? Yeah. That's how that works.
That's pretty much it.
The more money you pay me, the harder I'm going to work. Think about it like that. And she's like, well, that doesn't really work that way. I'm like, no, that's exactly how it works. You pay me $10. You pay me $10 an hour. You're going to get $10 an hour, Eddy. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You pay me $20 an hour. You're going to get $20 an hour, Eddy, and you're going to fucking sell the shit out of whatever the fuck you're selling. You know what I mean? Like,
or you're going to fold the shit out of some panties.
Ever. Oh my God, they're going to be color coordinated. Roy G. Biv, you got it. Whatever you need.
It's going to look like a fucking rainbow up in this piece.
And that's what got me the job. Just fucking being forward about it. Like, no, I just need money and I'll work hard. That's it. And I've had to do that my whole fucking life, dude. Like, I had to leave the family at about age 18 to fucking, live on my own. Because my whole family was very dependent on my grandfather. He did everything for us. Like he got heavily involved with like some businesses in New Jersey that spawned entire HBO television series. He was making money. The dude didn't even speak English.
Well, damn.
Said a handful of words. Hello, how are you? Like shit like that.
Yeah.
But always had some kind of fucking business going on, and making money for the family and supporting everyone in the family. And when I turned 18, I said, fuck that, because I need to be able to produce my own money because he's not going to live forever, and nobody else in my family got that. Everybody kind of just clinged to him. And when he passed, it kind of just devastated everyone. Like, oh my God, what do we do now? Like, well, this is going a little dark, but, sitting in the hospital room after he passed and like everyone crying and freaking out. And the nurse is standing there like, hey, so what are you guys going to do with the body? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And nobody had a fucking clue. I'm the one that had to step up and be like, hey, let me call some local funeral homes and let's get this taken care of. Because, what the fuck? And like the family obviously just it's always been that way, dude, just completely dependent. And I tried to break free from that and earn my shit. And I guess I got to thank him, because even though he never wanted that for me, he wanted to provide everything, you know?
Yeah.
But being that way made me who I am, in terms of, I'm going to go get my shit. I maybe did the wrong things, but to my defense, like, those were my examples that I had to go with. You know what I mean? Like, when you're raised by your parents, like, that's what you got. You know,
Yeah.
As a kid, you're dealt cards and you fucking deal with them. So I was dealt with, you know, criminal father and a fucking crazy person mother. So I had to figure out life, you know, and I'm grateful for it. I feel that even though right now I'm in a situation where I'm unemployed, I know that I got what it takes to go get a job and go do some shit, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm super grateful that the fucking podcast is taking off. You know, the people are hitting me up for shit, and it's cool, man. It's cool to go from fucking zero to where I'm at now, which is not anywhere near where I want to be, but still fucking way better than I thought.
It's on the way, dude. And you only started what, last November, December with the podcast?
I'm like, oh, this is only episode 31. I'm like, I'm on episode 6, dude.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, you didn't start that long ago, man. You're already like, did you? How did you get the? Are you still working with Audible?
Yeah, so there's I can hook you up with that. There's a link that you can go to, and then you submit certain links and stuff, information that they need from you for the podcast, and then obviously you get you have to say certain things. Like they encourage you to do it your way.
Yeah.
So it's not boring, and you can connect. You know, they're like, we know you connect with your audience more than we can, so you go ahead and do it your way.
Yeah, yeah.
So
you've heard some of the
so
church.
Oh yeah. My favorite is Duncan. Man, dude goes on tangents.
Oh my God, yes, I love him. Sometimes his intros are like a half hour long.
Oh yeah, but they're super interesting. It's not like he starts talking about like wash the third eye and fall into the new fucking, and he's talking about MeUndies.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what are you saying, dude? I love Duncan because of that stuff. I've been through existential crises myself. Back in 2002, I had a fucking car accident where I died, and I woke up. I woke up in I'm telling you, man. When I said zero to where I am, like zero, I'm talking. I've died. I've been homeless. Just roaming the fucking streets, sleeping at a Dunkin' Donuts. Like that bad. It's gotten to those points. Like when to kind of in a nutshell, I don't want to get too fucking crazy in it, but when my father got out of prison, I moved in with him, and shit didn't really click with his girlfriend at the time with me.
Yeah.
For some reason, she thought I was a spy for my mother, and I was trying to get in between her and my dad. And I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck.
Wow.
I haven't, that has nothing to do with me. But I ended up on the street and fucking just living on the beach in the sand, just fucking go. I'd go to Walgreens, fucking shower up, clean up, and go out and find a job. Try to find a job. I finally found a job working at this like health food store called Apple a Day. I ended up getting fired from there because some girl that I was working with ended up being too flirty, and we got in trouble. We were eating. It was a health food store, so we had this horny goat meat shit, and we were just eating that, and like we started getting frisky at work, and it got caught on camera, and they kicked me out.
Wow, that sucks.
But yeah, and then just keep going from there, and bullshit after bullshit, dude. Getting the car accident thing, having been dead, like that kind of triggered a whole cycle of my life that I wasn't expecting. Like after the accident, I couldn't really remember anything that had happened, just like flashes of like right before it happened. I remember looking at my girlfriend's cousin in the car at the time and telling her like, hey, put on your seatbelt. And he's like, why? I'm just put on a seatbelt. And immediately we got hit by a car.
Oh, wow. What, did you get broadsided or something?
It was a head on. We were going,
wow.
Yeah, we were going straight, and the other car turned left in front of us without like looking. And my buddy was doing like 55. And this was in my car. I was letting him borrow my car. He was going to drop me off at work, and he was going to borrow the car to go out with his girl. And we fucking head-on collision to this Oldsmobile fucking tank of a car, hits our tiny little fucking plastic Honda Civic, and fucking sent us flying into a house, like spinning and into a house.
Damn.
Yeah. I remember vague moments. Like I now know where superheroes come from because of that experience. Because I remember this, and I will fucking swear my life up and down to it. I was in the car trying to open the door after the accident, and I couldn't move because I had broken my collarbone and a couple other lesions, and I had a piece of metal sticking through my leg and all kinds of shit. Damn. So I couldn't really. I wanted to move. I wanted to open the door, but I couldn't. And I just remember looking out the window and seeing this big black dude running faster than the speed of light. Okay. Fucking flying up to the car door. He rips the fucking door off.
What?
And I fall into the ground as a puddle, and I passed out. That's all I remember. Now, of course, I had just received severe brain damage.
Well, yeah.
And I was in an accident, super traumatic. So obviously that's an exaggerated thing, but in my mind, I clearly remember that guy. And it's crazy to me like that. I'm sure that's where superheroes kind of fucking, like those ideas come from shit like that, traumatic experiences and whatnot.
Yeah. Maybe it was Luke Cage.
Yeah, right. Fuck yeah. I just got saved by Luke Cage. Jeez. Is that racist? I don't know.
No. He said he was black. It's like the most recent Netflix superhero show I've watched.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was the same shit. Yeah, he was like real strong, right?
Yeah, that's all. He's like Superman. It's great. Yeah. He's fucking real fast and strong. But
how long were you out of commission for that accident?
Well, unconscious. I was out enough to. I don't know the amount of time, but I know that I passed out then when he ripped the door out and I got out of the car, and then I woke up in the helicopter to paddles.
Damn.
Of them, they were paddling me back to life, and so that was a significant amount of time being unconscious. I'd say 20 minutes tops. The fucking helicopter had to land. They had to roll me in there, all that shit. So
damn,
probably a bit of time. But I would say out of commission work-wise, I was done for 6 months. I mean, I was broken all over. My girl at the time had to feed me. Like it was bad. I was just in bed, not moving.
How was your friend?
I had a piece of metal. So the guy who was driving didn't even have his seatbelt on, broke his toe.
That's it?
That's
What the fuck? That's crazy.
I died, but he broke his toe. So that sucks. But
you guys still friends or?
No, we don't really talk much anymore. He kind of went crazy on me one day, and I kind of, I was doing like, and it's weird, man, because we were close, but it got to a point where he started getting weird and awkward and uncomfortable around other people. People were complaining to me. Like I'd have parties and people would be like, "Hey man, who the fuck is that guy?" I'm just like, I'm sorry, bro. That's Lester the molester. What can I say? But it got to the point where I was doing UFC fights at the house. We would do these big ass barbecues, and people would come over, we watch the fights, and one night, he was always there. Like he would always come out to them. But one night I didn't invite him. He called me up. He's like, "Oh, yeah, you're doing the fights tonight?" I'm like, "Nah, dude, I'm taking it easy." And I did. I was taking it easy. It wasn't a big party. It was like I had a couple people over, It was just my girl and her friend and then like one other person eating and barbecuing and just chilling. Like I didn't want to have a big fucking party.
Yeah.
He showed up anyway on his bike. And we were on the second floor on the balcony, and I'm out there grilling, and he's like, "Yo, what the fuck?" I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, what are you talking about?" He's like, "What the fuck, bro? I thought you said you were going to watch the fights." I'm like, I wasn't going to have a party. I'm watching the fight, of course. And he was like, "I see how it is, bro." And then later on that night, he called me drunk as fuck, like, "Bro, it's fucked up, man. I see how it is. You don't want to be my friend." And I'm like, because of this phone call, you're right. Are you serious right now? You're calling me about this? that's it, dude. Just stop talking. And so we stopped talking after that, and that was it. It's the first time I've ever broken up with a friend. It was weird.
Shit happens sometimes, man.
It's always the distance happens, and you reconnect later, and naturally, it's not like that was like an official breakup,
Yeah. So. How long ago was your accident? Do you say?
2002 is when that happened. So going back to that, so after the accident, after I recovered, I kind of just dedicated my life to trying to remember what had happened. And I did a bunch of stuff. I went to Peru, did like the whole spiritual journey thing, did the Machu Picchu, fucking Inca Trail, all that stuff.
Do some ayahuasca down there?
Yeah. I mean, you name it. We tried it all. And, I felt really, I'll tell you what, dude, I felt really empty when I got to, Machu Picchu, because it was such a journey to get there, and it was such a pain in the ass to get there. Like we almost died on the trail. We ran out of supplies. Like, it was just fucking stupid. Jesus. We got to the point where we were on a mountain, and just remember like that moment synced in where I'm like, well, we're out of water. I can't move my legs anymore. It's fucking freezing, and I'm wearing the skin of a dead llama. I think this is where I die. So I said, fuck it. I'm going to lay down here and just kind of give up. And then we ran into some French hikers that came in and gave us like cheese and bread, and we finished everything and we got to where we were going.
Damn.
But then when we got to the ruins, I felt empty, dude. Like, it felt like there was just a bunch of tourists there that you could just take a bus there, but we decided to go the long way. You know what I mean?
For the walk, the spirit walk.
Yeah, the adventure, and find yourself. And that got really crazy because I got there and it just felt dead. Like, it's just, there's no spirits there. There's no energy, nothing. It's just tourism,
Yeah.
And it's cool because it's up in the mountains and you look around, you're like, holy shit, this is crazy. We're in the mountains, we're in the Andes and whatever. But it wasn't that, like, I didn't have that epiphany moment when I got there. The epiphany came after, after doing that and after surviving through that whole adventure and like other adventures and ayahuasca and DMT and acid and mushrooms. And, I went to Spain and came back with a vial of liquid acid once, and we fucking rode through that thing. And, it did everything psychologically or psychedelically that we could do to help me trigger what I had seen, or like that time period that I lost after the accident.
Yeah.
I finally, through years of just fucking around with meditation and breathing techniques and psychedelics, I feel that I got to the point where I got my answers. But there's obviously so much more to learn and shit. I'm just, I'm at the point where I'm not afraid of death anymore since I've come so close to it so many times. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've never experienced it like that, man. I've only passed out like a couple times. Sometimes we were on purpose. When I was in like high school, they did that little breathe 10 times and then stand up and hold your neck. But
hyperventilation. Sorry, hyperventilation.
Yeah, that's what it is.
God.
But in 2004, though, my brother was in a car accident. He fell asleep when he was driving, and he was actually in the fucking old. I think it might have been like one of those old Oldsmobiles. Maybe it was I forget the name of it. It was like a police car from like the late 70s, early 80s. But he got pretty fucked up. He cracked his forehead on the steering wheel. So that shit fucking sucked. And ever since then, he's been fine. Like, how bad was your like drain bramage?
Drain bramage is bad, man. And it's it wasn't so evident at an earlier age, like after the accident, because like I said, it was 2002 or whatever. But as I've been getting older, I've noticed it. Like I'll notice some retarded shit that I do. Like, I'll be sitting down on the couch, and for some reason or another, my body starts contorting. Like my foot will go in one direction, my arm starts going in another direction, and then before I know it, I'm sitting on the couch looking like a retard, just so I can, limbs everywhere, just kind of like a vegetable. And then I have the realization, I'm like, holy shit, get your shit together. And I fucking stand up, I stretch, and but that's obvious damage that my brain has. That's nerves that are fucked up. That's and it's fine. Like they say, we only use a percentage of our brain anyway. So as long as it's not the one that keeps me cognizant and lets me smell things and eat things and hear things and see things, then I'm okay.
Right. Yeah. How about your memory and shit?
I mean, the memory's not too bad, dude. I mean, really impactful things. I always got myself in the habit of remembering them, and not in a like how women or fucking they say how women is they're always digging up old shit. Not like that. Like I wasn't trying to. I don't keep it in my I don't hang to the past, if that's what I'm trying to say. But I like to remember those things that have happened to get me to where I am. Like the accident. Like whenever I get too fucking cocky, I'd be like, "Hey, you died," shit like that. Like,
dude, you gotta train yourself to be like that, man.
Yeah. And so I've always done that for years. I'll just kind of, if something happens, I'll write it down. I'll write it down a few times. I'll write a song about it. I'll fucking just keep it in my mind. And now the podcast is really helping me with it too. Just kind of like when I have no content at the moment, like we're in a lull moment or something, I'll throw in a story. Like, oh, so this one time I was on the road and blah 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 blah, and then that kind of opens up for the conversation to continue. And it's a muscle. Like that's one thing that I've learned from Joey Diaz is like keep doing it. You keep working on it.
Yes.
And you have to work on it and keep working on it because like Joey and I, that's one thing I feel that we have so much in common. The dude's obviously way more experienced than I could ever be, but we come from similar backgrounds, from fucking Cubans from New Jersey and fucking criminal activity and fucking bullshit that and the fight and going to jail. I ended up in jail too at one point. I mean, it's been purged since and fucking, what do you call it? Not exonerated. No. What the fucking, when they clean your record, expunged.
Expunged.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. They expunged it from my record because honestly, it was stupid. But just it's been a crazy adventure to get to this point, man. And even talking to you right now, dude, like I was sitting in my room listening to your podcast because I follow Joey, so that led me to you, and I'm listening to your podcast. I'm like, it'd be cool to talk to this dude, and I just reached out, and boom, there we are.
Hell yeah, man.
And it's the same. That's how you got with Joey, and like it's really, you got to go get your shit, man. Like don't let anybody hold you down, including yourself. Because usually that's the person that's holding you back the most, for sure.
Hell yeah, dude. I feel it. And I always felt that way too. Like I was held back because I played music and shit since I was like 14. I had like a couple bands in high school and shit. And I feel like if we had the internet back then, like it is now, with like Twitter and Instagram and stuff, like it would have been a totally different ball game. I think I would have went at it in a different way. I just never had the confidence. And you need that shit, man. And in life, you need that shit just to get the job that you want, or to even do the podcast like we're doing. It's like,
yeah. Well, it's a thin line too, though. I mean, you got to think about there's a thin line between having the confidence to do it and being delusional.
Well, yeah.
I mean, like,
I have heard a lot of I've listened to a lot of podcasts out there, and not all of them. Like, I'm not saying that mine's great at all, but like I'm trying to do it like from the heart, not like some people just overdo things or way underdo things. I don't know. You got to go in the middle, man. Just like life. I think Buddha said something about that.
So, well. To come to the end of the whole like existential bullshit story I just told, that's really what I've determined in this world that we live in, this dimension, this universe, this whatever you want to call it, frequency,
multiverse.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a multiverse, but like in this particular frequency that we are in right now, where we're talking to each other.
Yeah.
there's rules that are in place like any other game, like basketball or baseball. Like you can't go to a basketball game and fucking smack the ball with a bat. You know what I mean? You're not playing the game. You're fucking around and get them out of here. So same shit goes with where we are in life. You know, here we got shit like gravity, oxygen is required, stuff like that. Very basic things. One of the key elements of this frequency that doesn't exist in other ones is the bipolarity, the duality. There's always a beginning and an end. There's a black and white. There's good and evil, all that shit. And the meaning of life, the key to life is to be right in the middle. And the fucking Buddhists had it a long time ago. The fucking yin yang shit, they figured that shit out thousands of years ago. We're good. Like, we know what the meaning of life is, but we want more. We always want more. We got to figure out what it is. Well, there is more for you after you die, but you have to go through your cycle here. You know what I mean? You gotta stick around and finish this game. Like, all this hard work you're putting in, all this bullshit you're dealing with, all this stress, all the Donald Trumps in the world, all the fucking bullshit. If you don't put up with it and get to the end of the game, you wasted your time.
Yeah.
You know, the easiest fucking thing in the world to do is go kill yourself or something. I hear that a lot these days. You go online, you go to Facebook, kids are posting memes about, you know, nihilism and like, oh, you know, I don't want to be in this world, or I wasn't asked to be born, or yeah. And I'm not going to go far from saying that I've had days where like I'll have a bunch of drinks and I smoke some weed and I'm sitting on the balcony and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I know what's waiting for me on the other side of the plane. Like when I'm gone, I know what's coming because I was there. So why am I still here? And then I start thinking, I'm like, nah, bro, fuck it. I want to finish the game. That's what it is. I need to finish the game. And that's how you get the reward. That's the satisfaction. That's why video games and shit like that are so popular. You know, people want to get that extra Xbox achievement or the fucking trophy on PlayStation, or, you know what I mean? They want to get that Oscar or that Grammy or that, you know, Golden Globe. You got to get rewarded for your work. You're not going to get your reward until you're dead. And it's unfortunate for some people because they think about it negatively, like, oh, fuck, then I'm never going to get to enjoy it. Like the people that want to be at their own funeral and shit. You know what I mean? Like, but you will enjoy it because there's more coming. It's not the end. Like there's so much more shit. And like I said, those laws of duality where there's good and bad, that exists here, and that governs this world. And the only way to make it through this world is to fucking chill in the middle, balance it out. Okay, and that's how you get to the end of the game. Because if you go extreme bad, obviously you end up in jail, murdering somebody, doing something stupid. You go extreme good, and you're fucking delusional, and you're fucking hallelujahing at church, and you know, whatever the fuck you're doing, speaking in tongues.
Yeah.
So you gotta stick in the middle, fucking make it to the end of the game, and there's more coming. Without going into too much detail, through my psychedelic experiences and all that shit, the multiverse, I've seen universes and others where that doesn't exist. And there's no way for me to explain it to other people where, like, you know how it feels to not have to worry about the beginning or the end? Or to worry about the fucking, you know? It's easy for me to live life in the middle because I've seen that. But that's the lesson to teach people. Fucking focus on being in the middle. You need to have both.
Yeah, ride the waves of good and evil.
Right, you got it. You can't go to one side or the other.
Do you remember anything from when you had that accident? Like, or are you talking about like the like ayahuasca kind of experiences and stuff and tripping?
Well, that's the thing. So one thing I discovered was that what I remember from the accident is very similar to what I've seen afterwards while doing ayahuasca and DMT and LSD. The first thing I remember is seeing the creation of life when I had my accident, but at the time I didn't know I was looking at that. So what I saw at the time with like a numb baby mind was I was a dot, and there was nothing but darkness, and it was just me. And then when I came to the realization that I was there, then there was a reflection of me, and there was two of us, and it just kept expanding from there. So I started seeing geometric shapes that made no sense to me at the time in the accident.
Wow.
And I would see like the flower of life that I later discovered, you know, through sacred geometry and all that shit that I've seen, you know, people research and stuff. So that was one of the first things I did when I came back from my accident, is go get a tattoo on my arm of the first thing that I realized from the accident, which was the seed of life. And I have that, tattooed on my arm now. People are like, "Well, you tribal?" Like, dude, fuck you. I have my reasons, okay?
Dude, I learned about the seed of life and the flower of life through, I don't know if you've ever seen those videos on YouTube by Spirit Science. Did you ever hear about that?
I think I'm sure I've seen a few.
It's like
for sure.
cartoons made with like some like purple or blue guy. I don't know. You'd have to check it out. Spirit Science. I think it's still out there. But I learned about all that like sacred geometry and like it's got all like the different shit about like whatchamacallit, the crystals and like stuff like that. Like
I bought some books on that, like sacred geometry workbooks from like Drumbalo Melchizedek or some shit. I don't know how to say his name. First name Drumbalo, and he would claim to be the what do they call that? The channel. He was channeling an old Egyptian spirit called Thoth or Toth, however you pronounce that.
Exactly, yeah.
And I'm okay with that. That's your belief. I mean, I'm sure that happened to you, buddy. I saw some similar shapes, but I didn't. But I'm not channeling some old Egyptian guy. I will say that I did have a crazy, weird Egyptian experience. Not in real life, just kind of out of body experience. It got to the point where I figured out how to release small doses of DMT from my brain naturally through breathing exercises. And I would go on these crazy, lucid, out-of-body experiences every night without the use of drugs. By the way, kids, you can trip without drugs.
That's crazy.
Just so you know, you can fucking do it.
What is that called? Holistic breathing or something? Or I forget what the hell
rebirthing, they call it sometimes. Some people call it rebirthing.
It's like the real fast, deep breaths over repeated and shit.
Yeah, Maynard from Tool was into that for a while. There's a really cool book from Bob Frizzell about that. That's called, it's about rebirthing, breathing exercises. I don't like to subscribe to anybody's, like, I'll listen to what you got to say and then I'll fucking do it my way, which is what I did. I read that stuff. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna try it and do it my way. And that's how I do one side thing is I like cooking a lot. So that's how I've been cooking. It's like, I'll look at Food Network and then I'll just do my own thing on it. I'll do a twist, make it my way.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, the rebirthing, breathing exercises before going to bed really helped. And I would have these very, very lucid, like I could touch and feel and react. And sometimes it got a little crazy. Like I would wake up and it was it was very similar to my current existence. Like, sometimes you wake up and you're in a purple planet, but like sometimes you wake up and you're in your bed and there is your fiance. And I go to the nightstand to reach for my glasses, and they're not there. And I start freaking out, like, fuck, I don't have my glasses. Where did I leave them? And then I look, and I see that I can actually see, and I'm actually not wearing glasses. Like, and I don't need glasses anymore. So I am now existing. I am now lucid in a frequency or a dimension of myself where I don't need those glasses. And then I walk out to the living room, and my parents are there, and I'm talking to them, and I'm like, what? I have a moment where I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? You know what I mean? You don't live here. And then having like a rush of memories hit me. Like, hey, yeah, your parents moved in because your mom had a thing at her job and she went unemployed and you told her to move in, and your dad's over here because of this, and this. Like, I had all these memories kind of rush into my mind, justifying the scenario that I was in.
Wow.
So, but I was able to kind of stay outside of it and not lose my fucking mind. Like, oh, what's happening? You know what I mean? Yeah. But I just kind of sat outside of it like, okay, yeah, I'm just kind of I'm looking at life through a different lens right now. And then I could come back and wake up in my bed and still be living my life, this normal life that I'm used to. So that kind of stuff started happening a lot. And I had one where I was in New York, and I was talking to a girl with a cat head. And later on, I found out that that's a Egyptian goddess with a cat head. After searching that shit, but at the time, I was just like, okay, it's a chick with a cat's face, and she handed me like this bag of coins, and I ended up going through this cave, and on the other side, looking over like a hill to this society, I guess, a community, like a tribe, and it was a bunch of weird, different, oddly shaped, like giants and regular people amongst themselves, kind of just living in this village. And she looks at me and she goes, you know, that's the currency here. So if you need something, that's how you'll get it, with these coins. I'm like, okay. So I go down, whatever. And I go down in there. I'm walking around. I'm like, dude. And I know it sounds obscene, but I felt everything. I smelled the foods that they were cooking in the street. I fucking felt the sand in my hands. You know, I'm like looking around. I'm like, what the fuck is this, dude? The greatest VR existence you can ever imagine. You know what I mean? Like,
hell yeah.
It was like, but it was in my mind, you know, and I had to open that door up with DMT. So now the questions start to, you know, that's where the crazy questions start to come in. Where like, you know, is this in my mind, or am I literally out of my body right now as a fucking ball of energy flowing through some kind of different frequency and just visiting? You know what I mean? Like a radio station, or like I'm watching a TV show, but in VR, you know, and I'm feeling it. And I think that that's actually what's happening. And I think that the world of technology is moving in that direction too. Like if the VR thing is taking off, who would have told me 15 years ago that I could answer any question you ever had by grabbing my phone out of my pocket?
I know.
You know what I mean? So I think that eventually we'll get to that point where we'll come to realize what reality is, and we can fucking work within it and around it, and we won't need these devices to get us there. Yeah, we'll figure out a way to release it naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of different podcasts about like lucid dreaming and shit. I was interested in that stuff. Like how to like kind of trick yourself into waking up while you're sleeping.
Mm-hmm. I've actually had to stop doing it. I've had to stop fucking around with it because, you know, you could go. It's the Icarus effect. You know, you could get lost, and I don't want to get lost. You know, I still got some shit I need to get done.
Yeah.
You know, after a while, I just like, you know what, I'm gonna take it easy. Nah, I'm late. I'm not doing any psychedelic drugs anymore. I'll smoke some weed here or there. I'll drink some beer, but I'm here to finish the game. You know what I mean? I've done my journey, my exploration. Now I'm here to do something with it, with that knowledge. You know?
Yeah, man. How was the move to California with your fiance?
Dude, it was crazy. It was such a quick transition. You know, we had been dreaming about it for years because we were pretty miserable in Miami. My job was good. I had a good job, but it wasn't producing enough money for me to move out of where we were. We were living with her mom, and it was producing enough money to pay bills and you know, go out and be able to live life. But it wasn't enough to save up and move out.
Yeah.
And she was miserable working at a fucking retail job that she did, and she wasn't making enough either. And you know, it was kind of tough times. It wasn't awful times. I've been in awful homeless times, but you know, it wasn't great. So we kept dreaming about it, and we tried making plans. Like my buddy Danny from the band Intronaut had offered. He was like, "Look, I have a room. I can rent you out." You know, we were about to do it, and her grandfather passed, so we ended up staying and not moving. And then a year later, she's been talking about going into the video game industry for so long, and she was playing Call of Duty with some of the Activision dudes. She did some kind of play with the developers night or something, and ended up meeting them and talking, and they were playing Call of Duty online, and she reached out one day like, "Hey, how can I get my foot in the door in the industry?" And they kind of, you know, told her what to do. She had to do some stuff with this program called the Ambassador Program or something. And now she's the supervisor of the Ambassador Program, basically. Like, she's the community support coordinator for Activision.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
So when she got the job offer, she was like, "Look, we would have to move to California." And I'm like, the band had just kind of gone on hiatus to sever. My bass player had moved to Seattle. And we were like, well, we're going to take a little break. You know, me, Brian, and Billy were talking about starting another project, kind of just to fuck around, just to, you know, in the meantime. Yeah. But I had nothing going on. And I was still with Cigar City, which was great. But I felt the timing was right. I'm like, we need to go. So I reached out. I have my uncle that lives out here. I have two uncles that live out here in California, and most of my life I've been away from everyone in my family. Since the age of 18. I'm 35 now. So, and I tried my hardest to never ask my family for anything,
Yeah.
But at the time I called him up. I'm like, dude, I want to move to California. Can we make that happen? And he was like, you are family. You come here now. So he's like, we'll figure it out. My uncle Alex offered, he had he's separated from his kids and, his baby mama. So he has an apartment near where they live so he can go visit them. So he was like, look, just come and you can stay in that spare apartment for, till you get on your feet. And she had already had the job offer. So like, accept the job offer. Let's figure out how we get our shit over there. We had some money saved up. It was almost $2,000. Actually, it wasn't even saved up. It was credit money, really. You know what I mean? We had paid off her credit cards to the point where we had more credit.
Yeah.
So we used all her credit to just fucking get one of those U-Haul drop pods, shove everything, every little thing we could shove in there. We have so much shit with records and fucking video games and toys, and I have like an obscene amount of glassware from different breweries that I shouldn't have. Like, I just so much shit, man. And beer boxes. I had like 10 or 12 beer boxes, just bottles of beer that people have given me that I cellar them, and we drink them later with friends or whatever. But whatever, we packed all our shit in that fucking U-Haul. And my other uncle, he's a pilot for American Airlines. He's like, I have these buddy passes. I'll let you use them, and you guys can fly out here for free. So we flew out California. We U-Hauled all our shit in a box. My dad runs this fucking truck company from Mexico, and they picked up my car that I had, and they fucking put it in a truck and drove it over to California for me for free.
Damn.
Everything just worked out.
Yeah.
Like, it was meant to be, you know what I mean? Like, my dad, who's been gone most of my life and really hasn't been able to do anything, came through with that. And my uncles came through with that without, like, with me being kind of a dick and being so distant, like, not on purpose. It's not that I hated them or anything. I just, I'm in Miami. I'm trying to do my thing, man. Like, I was trying to make life, and not be homeless. So
exactly.
Shit happens. But it was really cool. All of them stepped up and made it really easy for me, and we got here, and she's fucking rocking at her job, and I was doing pretty good at where I was until, shit started going south with me and the supervisor guy. I'm not going to go into details, but just we weren't clicking, and, had to go our separate ways. Yeah. So now I'm in the middle of job hunting again, doing the podcast thing. I mean, Decibel Magazine reached out because they think that the podcast is doing pretty good, and they want me to go out there and do a live one at their beer and music festival in Pennsylvania. But
no shit.
I'm in a weird position right now where I'm like, I should totally do that, but what if I get a job like next week? Because I've been applying and fucking talking and interviewing with people and everything. So if I get a job offer, I'm gonna have to take it because it's steady pay. Yeah. But here's an opportunity to go fly out to Pennsylvania and do a live podcast at the beer music festival with Sleep and Municipal Waste, and Coach, it's crazy.
I would, if I got a job, I would be like, yo, sorry, but I gotta go do this. When is that in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, it's in April, mid-April.
Okay.
So I've been thinking about it for real. Like, I might do it.
Or at least mention that you have this thing that you can't,
That's the thing, man. I've made too many plans because I thought I had a steady job. So now I have these things coming up. There's that, and in May, I had made plans with the band to meet up in Denver because my drummer moved to Denver. So we were all going to meet up in Denver in May to go see Gojira and Opeth perform at the Red Rocks.
Oh,
and
nice.
But go see the show, but mostly just have a reunion because it would have been officially a year since I left Florida. So like, all right, it's a fucking December reunion party, So that's in May. So I got to ask for time for that. And then in July, I have to fly out to Florida for SuperCon. I've had the fortunate luck to become friends with Dana Snyder, who's Master Shake from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. And you know, working in the beer industry really opened up so many doors for me, dude. Like, that's one of those doors. We were at a convention in Florida, and he was there doing like a thing, and we had met for the first time. Just, hey, whatever, sign my Master Shake DVD, whatever, and it was cool. And then we went to his panel, and midway through his panel, I had to leave to go do a beer thing, and he fucking yells at me. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I'm going to work. Let me go sell beer. And he's like, "You work in beer? Bring beer. Come back here, go do your thing, and then come back here and bring beer." I'm like, oh, okay. So I did that. We ended up partying in his hotel room, just drinking beers with a bunch of different voice actors, people from the Venture Brothers and people from Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball and shit like that. I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? Like, how did this happen? You know? Yeah. And now it's been a few years, you know, and Dana lives out here. We get together every once in a while. I went to go see him do a stage performance thing the other day at Flappers Comedy Club, and I need to get more involved, man. I live in a fucking town where I can go see Joey Diaz whenever the fuck I want, and I barely do.
Joey was just at Flappers last night.
Yeah, see, I wanted to go to that, but it was hard to convince my girl to, like, hey, you want to go see Joey Diaz for Valentine's Day? Because I do, but I know you probably don't. Not because she doesn't like Joey, but she's, you know, she probably wants dinner and, you know, nice, like, just relax, you know.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to have to go out and deal with comedy in live settings. She's not a very social person when it comes to going out. But yeah, man, I need to start going out. I'd love to meet Joey. That would be awesome, just to meet him, talk for a few minutes, as a person-to-person thing. Yeah. I'd love to meet Rogan someday too, but I need to get out more. I need to go out to these comedy clubs and fucking mingle, because you know,
connect like a motherfucker, you know.
Hell yeah, that's how you do it out here, man, and that's how I've come to this point. So I need to go do it.
Fuck yeah. I've I've always been thinking about going out to California, but
dude, it's the thing to do. Yeah. I'll tell you, as somebody who just got here, I know it's hard. I know it's hard. But if whatever you can do to make it happen, it'll be worth it. Especially, you already got an in, brother. You're in with Joey. You're good. You come out here, you keep working for him, and build from there. And there's so many, like you said, connections out here that you can make some shit happen.
Yeah. It is definitely hard. Especially, I got a baby on the way coming in June.
That's that's the thing for sure.
It's
you guys are living together, I'm assuming?
No, we are. Yeah.
This day and age, people don't, you know. No.
Yeah, I know. We're doing it ass backwards, dude.
Yeah, I mean, me and my girl have been talking about babies for a while, but we decided, you know, we're selfish children ourselves, and we rather spend the money on playing Final Fantasy online with our spare time than having to deal with a child. So that kind of plays a big factor in it. But also, I just don't think we're I mean, I don't have a job. I can't fucking have a child right now. Are you kidding me?
No, dude. I was out of a job like for like 6 or 7 months, like a year ago. Sucks balls, man. And
that's a long time, dude. I've been 2 weeks and I'm losing my fucking mind.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
I'm hitting up everyone. Like, I even hit up Dana and a couple friends. Like, hey, man, I know I have zero experience. Well, no, not zero. Have also in my struggles to make money have been in 3 different movies. But I just like I have that as my only experience is being an extra in Miami Vice, Bad Boys 2, and Too Fast, Too Furious.
No shit.
So, yeah. I'm an extra in all 3 of those, so I have a film resume.
You got a SAG card?
No, I don't have a SAG card. I've been trying to get into that world too, man. With the podcast, has me writing a lot, and I used to do a lot of writing I wrote a whole pitch Bible for a cartoon for Adult Swim. And, you know, Dana put me together with the right people at Adult Swim to send it out to them. And, you know, we're kind of in the process of that. It's a very long process of like sending ideas and keep writing pitches and keep writing ideas and sending it to them. And hopefully something the shoe drops, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but fuck, man, I've even lost my train of thought. Just like, do shit. I think that's what it comes down to. And I know it's hard. It's hard to do when you've got a family on the way.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of like digging this whole Skype thing. It's been working out really easy for me lately, and the graphic design stuff I'm always gonna keep doing anyway. So I just need to get some more shit together with that. Like the last podcast with Marty from Drastic Graphics, dude. I learned so fucking much just from hearing him tell his story, which is like a lot like my own too, and he just did things a little bit differently, and he's got a plan like a motherfucker, you know, like that's something that I need to get on myself.
Yeah, man, it's always important. I don't have a plan. I've got ideas, and I'm trying to make them into fully formulated plans.
Yeah.
But, you know, like me and my buddy, my roommate, because we have a roommate here, my buddy Eric, we fucking sit down and we write. Yeah, we came up with the pitch Bible that I was telling you about, and we just sit there and write bullshit. And there's no plan to it, though. Like, we have to force each other. Like, all right, today we're going to sit down and actually script write. You know, and the latest idea that we have is to get the pitch Bible that we submitted for the cartoon and break it down into a comic book. And we have artist friends that we could, you know, call up that do the art and just fucking release it online. And, you know, that way we get experience doing the writing, we get people involved, get the fan base going. My only plan right now is to keep doing the podcast to the point where people give a shit about what I'm doing, at least to the point that if I were to do that, if I were to be like, hey guys, by the way, here's a comic book that I did, maybe those people will be into it. Or like, hey guys, here's a music project I just did. You know, I'm trying to, in a way, build up some kind of following without trying to be pretentious, or I'm not looking for fame. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a shit. I'm not looking for money. Like, I just want to do something so I can live life without having to have a day job.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. To not have to worry about money in general, you know, not to be rich, but just somewhere in the middle.
Who was it Rogan? I think he was Rogan the other day. He was talking and said that, like, the realization when you get to that point in your career or life where you don't have to worry about the bills anymore, that's where I want to be.
Yeah.
Bills are paid. Just let me live my goddamn life. Let me do my thing. Let me work on my podcast. Let me create. Let me do something without having to. Well, fuck. Now I got to go to McDonald's and work for 6 months to make enough money to pay rent. Like, I can't do that anymore.
I know.
Like, they're all hitting me up. They're like, "Whoa, you know, if you don't have a job, have you tried Trader Joe's?" Like, my girl told me Trader Joe's the other day, or like, you know, friends of mine like, go to Del Taco. I'm like, dude, fuck you.
I know.
I'm not going to no Del Taco. Are you kidding?
Dude, I just had a job at Target last year. Like, it was pretty bad. Because I've been working at like a law firm doing paralegal kind of shit, like since I got out of high school, and that's what I fell back on for a long time. But it just got rough, man. I was like, fuck it, I need to start applying like stupid places, like Target.
Yeah, it just sucks. Like, I've been fighting with myself, and, you know, to kind of go back to that, like, my girl said Trader Joe's. She's gonna listen to this and get mad if I'm not making fun of the Trader Joe's suggestion.
No.
I might have to fucking do it though, just because. Yeah, I mean, I had money saved up, but it's getting low, and I have a couple fucking coals in the fire. But until that shit's cooking, you know, I can't risk not having a place to live or falling behind on rent payments or falling behind. Like, I lived my whole life in a hole that I dug myself out of. I'd like to stay above that hole.
Exactly,
you know?
Dude. Exactly.
Don't want to fall back into that.
When I was out of work for all those months, luckily my girlfriend has a really nice fucking job, and she was able to like cover a lot of shit. Like, I was still like, until I ran out of unemployment, after, what was it, like 6 months or something?
Yeah.
I was still like paying my half of shit, but I wasn't able like to do anything or save anything, you know. But,
well, here's a question. Since you've done that, I have the paperwork. Should I haven't done that shit, man. I gotta get fucking unemployment.
Yeah.
Take that money.
Exactly, dude. You worked for it, especially if you had a job within the last year, because they only go back like the last year of whatever job you were working.
Yeah.
So that's that's how much you'd get. But fuck yeah, dude. Especially if you didn't get fired, like if they're not gonna fight unemployment from your last job or whatever. I filed it like the day that I got home. You know, and I had.
Yeah, I fucked up. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I kind of let my pride get in the way and just kind of like, fuck you. I don't need shit.
Yeah.
But you know, like now I'm like, nah, maybe I should fucking sign up.
Yeah, that's what it's your money. Like you don't get it back unless you're unemployed. But you're the one that puts into it. You know. Might as well. Fuck it.
It's just funny, like the ego, you know, and they just got in my way. Like, no.
I know, man. I feel, I don't know. That's why I'm trying to get this whole podcast design thing going even further this year. Like I made it.
Man, I was gonna say you're already doing it. You're kicking ass at it. You got your shit going.
Thanks, man. I'm fucking trying, dude. Because with this baby coming, she's gonna go back, you know, to work after her maternity leave. She has like daytime hours, and right now with my job, I have daytime hours too. So I've been like kind of like looking for other jobs at night that I could like switch over to, so I can be home during the day with the baby. Because I don't want to spend like my whole paycheck on daycare, you know. So
yeah, no, that's terrible. If you can make money out of the podcasting, I mean, that's what I tried to do with the Audible thing, and I'm trying to get more momentum on that end too. Just like make even not enough to make a living, but just if you're making some kind of income from the podcast through sponsorships and shit, you know, it helps. Definitely helps.
Yeah, I was talking to Lee Syatt about that because I was like, and this was like last year, like September or something like that, and I said, what. Like, how do you get, like, sponsors? Like, because they have, like, you know, they have On It and Hello Tushy and all that shit. Actually, I asked him about Blue Apron, and he was like, well, actually, like, big companies like that, they want you to have, like, at least 10,000 downloads a month on, like, Libsyn or, I guess, maybe all of them together. And at that time, I replied to him. I was like, damn, dude, that sucks because I got, like, 1,000 altogether since I started. But,
yeah, the Audible thing really threw me off because, I had heard about that, the limit, you know, needing X amount of whatever. Like, I reached out to Podcast One because that's the type of guy I am, not knowing really what the fuck and just kind of reaching out, like, hey, Podcast One, I'd love to be on your network. And they're like, yeah, we need you to have at least 30,000 downloads a month. I'm like, oh, what? Cool. That's not happening anytime soon. You know what I mean? Like, no. I'm doing okay in terms of listening and like the plays on SoundCloud and iTunes and shit. Like, there's people listening to the podcast for sure. Yeah. But I'm nowhere near that. Like, you know, and then I found out later on that, Podcast One is a big fucking deal. And, you know, that all the major guys are on that, you know. But we'll see, man. I'm just got to keep, you know, I'm exhausting all my reserves of homies that I've made through the years. That was my plan for the first few episodes. Was like, who do I know that I can talk to that people want to listen to? You know, the first person that popped in my head was Adam, and he was super cool about it. He was like, fuck yeah, dude, let's go. Oh, yeah. And that kind of got me motivated. I'm like, well, if I can do that, people will listen, and then I can get more of my homies. You know, the second episode was Dave Whitty from Municipal Waste, and then episode 3, fuck, I don't even remember anymore now, was Sasha, Intronaut.
Yeah.
And then fucking, you know, Zach from True Brewing, and we had, you know, it's just trying to call everybody that I know. Like, hey, man, are you down to sit down and talk to me for like an hour and a half? And we'll just fucking shoot the shit. I'll have some questions that I wrote down and some notes and stuff. And, you know, just fucking do it. But I'm kind of like now this is opening up doors. Like, because I did one with Adam or because I did one with Whitty, then other people that I reach out to, like on Instagram or something, I'm like, hey, I have this podcast. Here's a list of my previous guests, you know, if you're interested in doing it. And people are like, fuck yeah, let's go. So,
yeah, man.
It's working out. It's working out.
It creates like a wave, dude. There's been several of those that have happened with me, just going from one person to the other, and it's
and that's, you got to keep riding the wave.
Yeah, man. I'm getting it's pretty busy. Like at first, like this year, I started out saying that I was going to do at least one podcast every week, even if it was just by myself. And I did a couple like by myself before, but I was never really too comfortable doing that. And so I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it just so I have something coming out consistently, because that's like another big thing that you gotta stick with it, man, and fucking just make sure it gets done like every week or.
Yeah, right now I'm at a 2 episode a month kind of deal. Like
even that's good, you know.
But again, the only reason I'm doing it that way and not doing it every week is because I don't want to exhaust my friend reserve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like right now, I have a list. I have a list of like 10 names that for future episodes. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty good. I'm happy right now. But I got to keep filling that list up.
Yeah. And one thing I never did was like do every podcast that I've done lately, especially is just like I do it and then I do the intro and put it out. But you can just like record them and hold on to them just so you have something to put out, Right.
I've been thinking about that too, because I was supposed to do actually 2 episodes today and then do this with you. And thankfully, I was down to do the work, but thankfully Cameron from Contortionist called me. I was like, dude, can we move it to Friday? Because I got some shit. I'm like, okay, perfect. Yeah. That way I did one earlier today with Leon. He's in the band Nails and Phobia and Exhumed and all these really cool fucking sick grindcore bands. And old homie, he was in a couple other bands that I know as well, like Intronaut. But I was like, man, by the time I get to Mike, I'm going to be dead.
I saw the post that you did.
2-hour podcast.
I didn't think that you were doing them all in one day.
Yeah, no, it all worked. When I posted that, it wasn't that. Like I had one Tuesday, I had you on Wednesday, and then one on Thursday, and then somehow it all got jumbled up into Wednesday. And then thankfully Cameron's like, no, we'll have to do it Friday. I'm like, cool, awesome.
I'll have a voice.
I'll have a voice, yeah, because it's already starting to get hoarse around, But oh man, but yeah, dude, it's been great, dude. I appreciate everything you're doing. The solo casting has actually been kind of inspiring because I've heard like Bill Burr's solo casting, and I've always thought it was kind of weird, but apparently people like it. I don't really.
It is weird, dude.
I don't know if I can.
You could do it.
I don't know. I mean, it's like the way I see it is like with music. I've always had these ideas to do solo music these days, and I never get around to actually finishing it. I jot down ideas, and then I feel more comfortable collaborating with people or talking to people.
Yeah.
There has to be someone else involved.
That's what I thought too, dude. Then I started doing it just by myself. You write down like a couple different topics on a piece of paper in front of you, and you start out with the first one, and somehow, dude, it just all melds together. As long as you keep looking at that piece of paper.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially if you have some music that's like kind of going on in the background, it feels a little more comfortable.
You have a vibe. You have a vibe going there that I enjoy. Whereas like old school radio hosts, where like they're next up is this song, and then like they'll play the song, but they're still talking while it's like the intro's going, and then they kind of stop as like what I mean. You have that vibe going. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I could do that.
Yeah, I'm definitely copying off of people. It's not original.
No, but dude, everything. Nothing's original. Everything's a copy of somebody. So it's a matter of how you do it and doing it your way that defines it.
Oh yeah, man. And I dig the whole, playing songs of like your friends and shit. That's what, like in my earlier episodes, I had a bunch of like musician friends, and I'd have them on, talk to them, and then they'd play like an acoustic version of one of their songs at the end or whatever. And then I'd also include like their recorded version of a different song. And that's what I wanted to do originally, was just do that with a whole bunch of musician friends. And then I was like, you know what? Why don't I include like every artist, like and comedians and just cool people? Why does it have to be just musicians? So
yeah, it's a barricade that you put on yourself. Like I started doing that in my mind when I first started the podcast. I'm like, okay, it's always going to be a band member and a brewer, and that way we have a specialist from each category and myself in the middle.
Yeah,
and then it got to the point where we couldn't get. It was with Liam from Dillinger. We couldn't get the brewer Gene on, so from Tired Hands. And I'm like, do you want to just do it, you and me, and see what happens? And he's like, yeah, whatever, fuck it, let's do it. And then that's when I realized I'm the only one putting this fucking formula in place.
Yeah.
Like, I have, like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, my listeners are going to be so upset. Like, nobody gives a shit. Like, this is my idea to fucking do this podcast. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. Like, I've already written down, I'm going to do an episode with Dana, and he's not in a band and he's not a brewer. He's a fucking voice actor, but who cares? We'll fucking sit there and talk about music, and we'll talk about beer, and we'll talk about whatever, and it'll fit the theme. At least, I don't want to go too crazy. I definitely want to talk about music and beer at some point with everyone, but it doesn't have to be a brewer and a band. Like, it could be anything. So yeah. I'm definitely going to expand in that direction moving forward. Like I said, I have a long list right now, like 10 names of people that have committed, like said yes, and then I have another list of 5 or 10 names that people that I've reached out to and I haven't gotten a response from, or dreams. Like, I would like to talk to.
Yeah, it's a good idea, man. I've been, there was 2 times it happened, but then it didn't happen, but I was supposed to have Joey on. And
oh, nice.
I was like, I'm kind of glad that it didn't happen yet, because both times they were like, he was, busy doing some shit or whatever, and I was just like, so fucking nervous. I didn't want to have that, because that was going to be one of my first Skype podcasts, and I was like, I don't even want to have this fuck up, because I was just nervous that it was just going to not work right. But it's so
you just gotta
simple.
do it, man. Don't overthink it. Just fucking sit down, talk to Joey, write a couple things you want to bring up, and then just go with it. Because Joey's a professional. He'll steer the conversation in that direction.
Hell yeah.
So
for sure. And I'm jealous of your name, by the way, Rock and Roll Beer Guy. Except for mine would probably be Rock and Roll Weed Guy.
Rock and Roll Weed Guy. I mean, do it.
You should do a spawn off. That's what you should do. Segments.
Like the Death Squad. You know how they have the different people that are podcasters or whatever. We'll have the Rock and Roll Beer Guy, the Weed Guy. My buddy Gasper, I'm like, you should be the Rock and Roll Coffee Guy because he likes coffee.
Yeah.
So,
and that's pretty much where we'll leave it, unless you want to do like the Rock and Roll Coke Guy.
Oh yeah, right. Rock and Roll Meth Guy. That's gonna be an amazing podcast.
Well, dude, thank you very much, man. It's been almost 2 hours so far. So my voice is getting harsh too.
Yeah, this is the second longer than an hour thing I've done. The first one was with Sasha. I did a 2-hour podcast, but yeah, this is good practice. It's like training for a 5-round fight,
Hell yeah, dude.
It's the championship rounds. Well, all right, dude. Thanks for talking to me, and please follow Rock and Roll Beer Guy, Rock the letter N Roll Beer Guy on everything: Instagram, iTunes, SoundCloud, fucking Facebook. I need to do more Twitter. I realized.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you. You got a Twitter page?
My Twitter game is low. I need to get up on the Twitter world, because what I did was I linked it to my Facebook. So whatever's on Facebook goes to my personal Twitter, and then I have one for the Rock and Roll Beer Guy. It's R&R Beer Guy. I wanted to just put Rock and Roll Beer Guy, but it's too long apparently.
I know. I hate that shit.
Yeah, so it's RNR Beer Guy at Twitter. And yeah, help me get my Twitter followers up, because I fucking slacking on that game.
I know, man. I started both like Instagram and Twitter kind of at the same time, and Instagram got a little further just because of my ability to run Joey's Instagram. So
yeah, man, I like Instagram more too. It just you can provide, you can obviously post pictures in Twitter, but for some reason I just feel Instagram's easier. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been on there since the beginning, man. Posting stupid pictures.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, thanks again, man. And yeah, please, Rock and Roll Beer Guy. And hopefully we can maybe do this again, or I'll have you on one of my episodes.
That would be awesome, dude. I look forward to it.
All right. All right, man. Good talking.
Have a good night, brother.
You too, man. Cheers.
Bye.